Gary, are you here? Gary's here. So Gary, while we have the audience, let's do this. Let's have Gary present for Brixton Metals. I want to hear about their Thorn project in northwestern BC. Then we'll take a little coffee break, and then we'll come back for the awards. Okay, so Gary, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here today. So Brixton Metals, so multi-generational opportunity. Why such a big statement? Well, we believe we have the opportunity here to create multiple large-scale mining opportunities, and that's going to run obviously for a very long time. But really, I mean, Brixton is an exploration company, so we've got a lot of work to do. If you're not familiar with Brixton, trades on the TSX Venture BBB. That's my safe harbor statement because I might be making some forward-looking statements. So our team, we've got a pretty solid team of geologists for the most part, very technically strong, and a strong board of directors, some that have built mines and certainly worked in mines. And the company today, so we've been around now for about 14 years, and the company's raised about $105 million to date, mostly non-brokered financings. So we're in decent shape. We just recently closed about a $6 million financing, and so we're sitting at about $10 million going into the end of the year. So Brixton's strategy, it's really focused on the copper and the gold. We think we've got this massive project that has a big opportunity, and obviously with BHP coming in 2022 for 19.9% of the company on the equity stake. So we've got a strong strategic behind us, and BHP is obviously here for the copper, but we've got a very interesting gold angle as well here. And I guess the last couple of years we've been looking to divest what we're calling now our non-core assets, only because the difficulty in the financial markets and raising capital for exploration. We decided to pivot, really put all our eggs into the Thorn project. And we've been successful in attracting some big names like Ivanhoe Electric on our Montana project, which is also a very large-scale polymetallic copper porphyry system. And we recently signed a deal with Eldorado Gold on our Atlan project in northwest BC. And so pretty interesting transactions. We'll see about $1.8 million in cash payments over the next couple of years just from those two deals. So a little bit on the company, market facts. So we're sitting at about, I guess, again, going into the closing of the year with about $10 million in cash. You can see the shareholder register here, BHP, Crescat. I mean, for a 35 million market cap company, having the world's largest miner and 3 billionaires as shareholders. So not a bad start. And we've got strong support out of a Crescat Capital as well. And, you know, for a company of this size, we've got pretty good liquidity. I think we're pushing around 130 million shares traded this year to date. And obviously, that's going to probably improve as we get to the close of the year. But I would say, you know, where our share price is, I'm not very happy as a shareholder. I can tell you that my average price on this stock's about 23 cents. So we're extremely, I would say, low on the valuation curve here. So just a portfolio. So we started off since about 2018, we had 4 projects. Again, we farmed out 2 of them. We still have this Ontario asset. It's a silver cobalt project that we're looking to monetize as well. And that'll really just open up the team and our resources to focus on the flagship Thorn. So Thorn is the largest contiguous mineral claim block in British Columbia. It's now somewhere north of 2,900 square kilometers. So it's north of what's known as the Golden Triangle. We're on the same geological trend. It's actually not a triangle. It's a geological northwest linear trend. It's about a 500-kilometer trend. But we're on that trend. We're just further up the trend from most of the activity. But nonetheless, we've got a very large block. We're calling it the 80-kilometer mega trend. And we're pretty excited about it because we see multiple styles of mineralization. Copper, gold, porphyry, epithermal gold, silver. It's quite a unique project. It's mostly copper, gold, but we do have silver and moly as byproducts. So there's the massive block. It's basically the size of Croatia. So what do you want in a good exploration project? You want a big land position, you want multiple targets, and we've identified probably north of 20 large-scale targets, and I'm talking multiple kilometer targets. And just to give you an example, if you were to start at the north end of the property and fly down to the south end, that's about a 45-minute helicopter ride. So it's a big area, lots of ground to cover, and we're still, I feel like we're just getting started after a dozen years. Most of the work on the project's been focused in sort of the north-central area. We've got identified 11-kilometer gold anomaly, and of that 11-kilometer anomaly, there's at least 3 areas there that are quite compelling, and the trapper target, which represents 4 kilometers of this 11-kilometer anomaly on the south end of it, is where we've been focusing a lot of the efforts on the gold side of it. But in the central part, you can see there's an east-west structure called the Outlaw Zone, and that's an interesting sediment-hosted gold zone that was originally worked by Chevron Minerals in the 80s. And so we've done some drilling on that. That's also quite an interesting gold target. And then the Camp Creek is actually the copper gold porphyry target, but makes up part of that 11K anomaly. So Trapper is actually one of the targets that we didn't have this ground. We had ground around it, but we didn't actually own the central part of this ground till 2020. And then we started sampling that main drainage, and we're pulling 150 gram gold, 100 gram gold, lots of very high grade gold samples from surface. So we didn't actually start drilling this target till 2021. And you can see some of the numbers here, 64 meters of 5.7 grams of gold, almost 400 meters of a gram. Just this year we drilled 8 meters of 11 grams, including 2 meters of 44. So we have this zone that's actually about 700 meters in strike, down to about 400 meters in depth, and maybe 150-ish sort of width of it. I think we're getting to a point now where we can start putting this into resource category, and that's something that we're looking at over the next little bit to see if we have enough meat on the bones here to get this into resource category. What we like about this is it's sitting on a bit of a ridge top, so it looks like it's got a bit of a low strip ratio. We've got gold mineralization at surface. So far, I'd say down to about 400 meters, and it's pretty much wide open. This is just showing you some of the geophysical signatures that just gives us lots of prospectivity to test as we go. Now, just shifting gears a little bit into the copper. Again, this is why BHP is in Brixton Metals. It's all about the copper here. And if you recall that previous map, the copper distribution has a much larger footprint here. And it's quite interesting because we've got some very large copper-looking targets that maybe have some gold and maybe not much gold, but certainly a lot of copper. And I'd like to remind people that some of the largest gold deposits in the world are actually copper porphyries. So we think we've got a copper porphyry district. We don't have one deposit. We think we have multiple deposits, thus the multi-generational opportunity. So we've been busy this year. It was a big copper push for us. We've actually identified 3 new areas on this project. We've been on this thing since 2010, and we found 3 new areas that haven't been drilled. And so we're excited about what's coming up for the next season. And what we're looking for is these giants, elephant, supergiant, big deposits that can run for a very long period of time. And we have made a discovery. It's called Camp Creek. It took us 10 years to go from drilling 1, 2, 300-meter holes into, in 2019, we had $1 million budget. And we asked ourselves, well, what are you going to do with $1 million budget on a project like this? We thought, well, if we could drill a big hole and tap into a monster porphyry, that would be exciting. That would change the story. And that's what we attempted to do on the far right of this slide. Hole 150 drilled 550 meters of a 1% copper equivalent. And within that was 40 grams silver. So all those holes you see in the central part of this image weren't there in 2019. And since then, in 21, we actually confirmed the porphyry by drilling deeper into the system. Everything told us that we had to go deeper. But again, it took us 10 years to get there to make that move. But lo and behold, we have confirmed a deep porphyry, a blind porphyry, and it's still open. You can see some of those holes at the bottom 1,600 meters, we're still in mineralization. So we're drilling north of 1,000 meters of copper mineralization. And you can see where the colors get bright on this slide. That's where the higher grade material is. So this looks like a block cave mine scenario. Obviously, it's still early. We've only got about 20 holes into this target. And what you're looking at there is a kilometer by kilometer block. So still lots of work to do on this target. But I think going into the next season or two, perhaps, we want to take a bit of a step back. We've got so many targets on this project. We want to look at perhaps some low-hanging fruit and see what else we can, what other zones we could discover. So just in summary, look, Brixton has a massive land position. In fact, the largest land position. We've got an opportunity to find some behemoth copper gold projects and discoveries. So copper and gold. We've got a strategic investment from the world's largest miner. We have 3 billionaires as shareholders, and we're fully funded for going into next season. And we're starting to monetize our non-core assets, so we'll actually get some cash, even though we're not cash flow generating. We are getting some cash payments from our partners. So the Hog Heaven is in Montana. Ivanhoe Electric is the operator, so they're also drilling quite large, deep holes there. So if you look at the deal structure there, $4.5 million cash to Brixton, $40 million spend, gets Ivanhoe Electric 75%, and we'll have a 25% carry to a development decision. And then the Atlan Goldfields is a 100% option for El Dorado, so they pay Brixton $8.1 million cash and spend $5 million. They could take 100% of that asset. So that's my story, so thank you very much for your attention, and I appreciate it.
Any questions for Gary before we get some coffee? Okay, I think you're free, Gary.
Great, thank you.
Thanks so much.